Wait, you just put us live without the countdown.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The Joey special. Take us in then, bro.
Wow. Well, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of On Tap Bets. Actually, we're kind of like new and improved, re-energized here. I'm here with Bdon 300. I hear like a little echo going on. You hear that, Bdon? Why am I hearing myself like a little too much? You got this thing cranked up already. No countdown. See, this is. I thought we were new and improved. We're not new and improved. Apparently, we're.
No, it's just. I mean, we just spent the last 20 minutes trying to figure out the graphic for the background, getting the On Tap logo in there, the bottom, headline and all that stuff. You're talking to the two dumbest technological people at On Tap Sportsnet. In regards to the bets that we made yesterday, that's yesterday's news. We're on to today. It's college basketball, man. These are 18 to 22-year-old kids. We saw a 16 seed last night in Fairleigh Dickinson knock off Purdue. And anything is possible right now in this tournament. It's been some great basketball, and there's some great basketball ahead of us today.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. To be honest with you, I'm going to screw up what region all these kids are playing inside the bracket because that's just, I don't pay attention. After once I make out my bracket, it's like, okay, the games are just on. Now I just have to go back to the bracket and be like, all right, where were they at and all that. Yeah, Fairleigh Dickinson. That was a pretty incredible victory.
Thoughts and prayers to Iowa too, man. Bad look so far for the Big Ten.
You just had to throw that little dagger in there, and I don't blame you because I once they lost to Nebraska, I'll be honest with you, I knew their season was pretty much shot.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, yeah, they're in the tournament, but I really didn't have high hopes for them.
So I'll tell you, as someone who's lost to the Fighting Fred Hoibergs on more than one occasion on a bet slip, like, say what you want, those bastards are good, especially if you get them at home in Nebraska. They play good basketball out there. They're obviously not good enough to go to the tournament, but I don't know. It's been a lot of fun so far. Like, we've seen – what else other than that? We saw Furman the first day of the tournament, really like the first game of the tournament outside the first four with a game-winning three late to win 68-67. We were all on that. And then obviously Fairleigh Dickinson yesterday. That's just – I didn't even see the coach called it after the first four game. Did you see him in the locker room to his team after they won against Texas Southern? I saw that after, and I'm like, wow. Had I have known that, I would have just put a little sprinkle on him. Like, why not? But
yeah, I mean, it's definitely like when you see that type of stuff in the locker room, that's the stuff that I wish we had going into games, right? Like if we in most games we don't have that. We don't get that little a
little insight. I'm a narrative better, dude. If I saw that, I'm betting that. You know who I am. Like, I bet narratives. Like I told Quentin, we were wrapping up for Bears on Tap the other day for the last time. I'm like, it's great because you have a model, Joey has a method, and I just shoot from the hip. And that's fine, responsibly. One unit, like, I don't – if I whale some shit, if I put a lot of money on it, oh, come on, put that in the back of the net. Let's go. Tottenham goal. Tottenham goal. Both the boys are up. Let's go. Called my shot, too, on who would score it. But I hope Ron was in here for that. That was the most free goal I've ever seen. But, yeah, I
was ready to talk so much shit about them, too. I was so ready. I'm glad you got your goal, though.
Yeah, now we can park the bus and we can talk basketball. But what I am going to say is yesterday was not our best performance. I will take that on the chin. It's what I said to you before the show. I think I'm a hero. I try to bet overs. I'm betting overs in March Madness. Like, what am I doing? This is on me. This is a me problem. Like, last night after seeing Kent State and Indiana, not a state, because if I'm sitting there and I'm like, I have a legacy over pending on Kent State, like a team that I just do not respect. And Rod's cooking me in the chat. But I cannot believe, like, they had 131. That's what they finished with. You know how many Kent State, Indiana games that we've seen finish like once? Well, they don't play each other, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you watch a lot of college basketball. Kent State's usually finishing in 150, 160. They're getting up there in points. Indiana, for the most part, they play in the Big Ten, so sometimes there's a couple stinkers in there. But, yeah, I don't know. I didn't get the points. Memphis crushed my soul last night. That was Did you have Atlantic? I think you had Atlantic, didn't you?
I was going to. No, I didn't. I didn't bet that game.
Okay.
I stayed away. Yeah.
Ron says nothing like a come on you Spurs goal and Bdon's attention span being distracted. They are the last leg of a 4-leg parlay that at halftime of the games is hitting. We'll keep you posted after, but I did put out we're going to London and we're getting this shit back before the tournament even starts. But let's get into it. We're 20 minutes away from this first game.
Wait. Real quick though, because we're talking Tottenham, Tottenham, Totten scam.
Yes.
Listen, the only reason why I wanted to even bring it up, and I know you had them in your slip already, and you're sitting there sweating it. The reason why I wanted to bring them up is because they are on my ban list, and you just told me before we hopped on here that they're like your team now, that you're riding or dying with them. So. Well, it couldn't be any more perfect though, because that means all your bets are going to hit now because I'm off of it and you're on it, and that's just what happens.
We won't talk about the debacle that the TCU Arizona State game was. I did a tweet, and I'm like, well, I have the TCU spread, and you have Arizona State money line. Surely nothing can go wrong, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course not.
We got smoked. TCU by 2. They don't cover. Arizona State obviously doesn't win, and me and Joey were not in a good position. But yeah, I don't know. The last 2 nights, I'll say it's been good early. Middle of the day has been good, but the last 2 nights have not been my best work. And I'll be the first to admit it.
I mean, the first early part of the tournament, I think I was on a lot of those dogs.
Yeah.
And you were too. I know you had that big money line. Which game was that? I can't remember. Plus 800.
I took
was it Princeton?
Yeah, I just sprinkled a little on Princeton. I put more on Furman, and I've been using these boosts just to profit boost stuff up, because why wouldn't you at this point of the year?
They're giving you money.
They're giving you. Yeah, that's one thing too, Joey. I know you said the other day, check the books that you have for free bets, but they're giving a lot of promotional stuff away during the tournament. If they're giving you a boost and you like a plus money dog, I always like using a boost that way as opposed to taking a minus 200 and turning it to a plus 100. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Give me that plus 500 that turns to plus 800 on a bunch of nerds that take out Arizona. You're a little more. You're a little bit more. You're willing to take a little more risk, even if you're not putting as much money on it, basically. Yeah, just a little sprinkle. And I said, the first day of the tournament, 1 unit for pretty much everything. I don't have any futures on anyone in the tournament right now. I'm glad I didn't put any futures out because I was thinking Arizona, UCLA, some of these teams. But for those of you that know me, my brother's he is Northwestern, so I couldn't be, sitting here with a UCLA ticket and looking my brother in the face like I'm a good man. But yeah, I will say one future that I do have that's pending in the bet slip, and again, this is a little $5 sprinkle. I have my countryman, Cuba, to win the World Baseball Classic, plus 10,000.
Interesting.
So
all right.
That's something that I'm going to be sweating tomorrow night. Today's Saturday, so tomorrow night, and they're going to play USA or Venezuela. So.
Well,
that's kind of why I wore a little blue and red. I don't have my old Cuba swag. I used to have the fat kid flat bill with just the flag in the middle. But yeah, I'm excited for really everything that's around the corner. But this day of March Madness is a lot of good games, good on good opponents. None of that.
Mm-hmm.
None of that high seed, low seed shit. I saw Duke, Tennessee on the schedule. I saw Kansas, Arkansas. I'm okay. We got some games today.
And we got we even got a 7 and 15. That's a reasonable 7 and 15 is kind of a reasonable. The 7 seed could easily lose to that Princeton team again. I don't know if you want to jump on them again, but
I'm a sticker. Why not?
I brought up the least important game out of the bunch because that's just the way I am. But I mean, it should be a close matchup.
You brought up the game in the March Madness tournament that's on ESPN Plus. You said
the ESPN Plus special. I love a good Arkansas Pine Bluff game.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. I'm always looking at those obscure games, which I know you are too, because you'll be sending me messages at like 1 o'clock in the morning about betting some overseas basketball or something. So,
that's another thing. Well, listen,
at least I can watch my fucking games.
You can. Thanks to our friends over at Bet Rivers.
Oh, true. They have them. They got them up there a little bit.
Listen,
with the tennis too. You ever watch some of the tennis on that?
My buddy doesn't play in like the Israeli league, and I wouldn't say my buddy. He's just someone that I like followed at NIU. I interviewed once, but the dude scored 49 and 50 in his last 2 games. If you can't get behind sprinkling a little cheese on the Qingdao Eagles, then I don't know what to tell you. They come through more often than not, and if you know someone on that team is like from America, played college basketball here, and you just know the type of player they are, in my eyes, I would always bet it.
Yeah, we need to get into this though. Let's stop.
Let's get into real basketball.
Let's get into real basketball. Yeah.
We had a Tottenham goal in the first 10 minutes. Tottenham. I'm sorry, they're gonna kill me for saying it because I'm super American. Tottenham goal. Come on, you Spurs. And we had some Qingdao Eagles talk in the first 10 minutes, but we're about 20 minutes away from this first tip-off of the day. Who you got in Furman, San Diego State?
Furman, San Diego State, man. I think this is obviously this is the one that I kind of looked at the most because it is the first on the docket, and we're going to be watching it while we're on here. And I, you kind of talked about like going by the model or shooting from the hip. There's times where I do both. There's times where I do mostly just the model. There's times where I do just go from the narrative. Ron saying here, love you guys. Supporting your boys at ESPN Plus games, but you're both sickos. We are sickos. I totally agree with that.
I know Ron has a Furman slip right now. I know he does. He has to.
Oh, I mean, what? How couldn't you? So I got a Furman slip. So we'll just start there. I got the plus 5.5.
I have 2. My fat fingers, because of my family room, can't show it, but I have 2.
Yeah, it's blurring. It's blurring a little bit on the screen. We got I got the money line. I got the plus 5.5. I did a little half unit on each. And I've got JP. How do you say his name? Peegs? Is it Pegas? Not Pegas. I forget how the announcer. I forget how he says his name. Over 12.5 points. He hit that big shot down the stretch there to kind of to seal that game. 2.2 seconds left in the game in the first round for Furman, and he hit that huge 3. But he's like consistently, and that was obviously against Virginia. He's been consistently getting over that number. The one time in his last 11, he's 1 for his last 11 from 3. So like there's a little positive regression there. Actually, if you look at our sponsors on Bet Rivers, I saw him at 10.5 points. I think it was like minus 122 on Bet Rivers. So that's an auto bet for me. Like, I mean, you
said you got it at 12.5 though.
I got it at 12. Well, it's just like across the board. It's mostly 12.5. I bet it at 10.5. So yeah, I did bet the 10.5 Bet Rivers, but there's like some better, if you want like plus money and stuff like that, if you're looking at little boosts, I mean, you could probably get it at a better, if you want 12.5. I think he goes over each. So, I mean, that's kind of why I'm saying that. But like last 6 games before that, because he just missed the number, I think his last game, he had 11 points in that game. The last 6 games before that, though, he was easily going over 12 points each game. Even after the big 3 he made, like I said, he's 1 for 11 from 3 for his last 11 for 3. So he's going to start knocking them down. San Diego State, dude, they allow a lot of threes. Like San Diego State will let you shoot the 3. Furman can hit those threes. They shoot about 35% from the field. So I like Furman. I mean, it's probably a little too late. I mean, I was on them in the first round, but I don't know. I feel like sometimes you see these teams just get hot, and I feel like Furman could be that team where at least they make it to the Sweet 16. What are you on for this one?
No, yeah, so I'm the same way. So, again, ESPN Plus special. Watched a lot of Furman this year. They ran into a matchup nightmare in Virginia, right? Virginia's a slow-paced team. They like to really squeeze you out, hold you under 65, 60 points a game. Furman's the exact opposite of that. They like to run and gun. They like to shoot a lot. They like to shoot a lot of threes. And I want to say, I think I saw a stat the other day, like they score like 83 points a game. You know what I'm saying? Like they're a high-scoring team. Play against Virginia, that's all going to slow down. So I think similar to Virginia, San Diego State plays that similar type of basketball where they are slow. They're going to take long possessions, quality shots, pass the ball a lot, and they're going to play really good defense. So I think it's going to be a pace game. If Furman can run their style of offense, if they can get out there, get the shots to fall early and get some early momentum, I don't see why there's a reason they can't stay within the 5.5. And like you said, back to your point with like promotions and free bets, a little $15 free bet. What better use to use a $15 free bet than a plus 200 money line? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah.
I'm not going to be Jeff Bezos off the game, but like, it's a $15 free bet. Why not send it on a team that just brought you home the other day? I wish I had that same sentiment yesterday when I bet Pitt against Iowa State, but I bet the spread instead of the money line, and the game was never close. It was like 19-2 the first time I saw the screen, and I'm like, oh my god.
You feel a little bit better about if you bet a money line and you get blown out. If you bet a spread and you get blown out, you're like, dude, you can't even keep it within the number.
Yeah,
come on, my guys. Like, what are you doing over here? You're killing me. My whole analysis or narrative just went out the window.
Just went out the window. Yeah. Well, no, and that's the thing. A lot of times you'll hear someone say, either the dog's winning outright or the favorite's covering. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like in basketball, and you know what? I want to say one thing too. As a man who has been personally victimized by my own decisions of betting overs in this tournament, I've watched damn near every game, bro. I don't think I've seen a single game have fouls at the end to add free throws for a total.
It's not because they're playing. It's a lot of not that there is
the only one was Alabama AMCC, and I ended up covering with AMCC. The Island Boys, but
it's the Island Boys. It's tough, man, because you're getting a lot of this. They're trying to slow down the game, and then you got these kids, especially first round. This is a huge game for them. There's a lot of nerves. I think
they're in bigger arenas. Man, Q told me when we did Bears on Tap the other day. He basically said, "Don't bet overs." And what did I do? I bet overs like an idiot. So I first day, I think I had like 2 or 3. And then the second day, I remember I made the video yesterday morning and I was like, yeah, I'm betting it under. It's not hitting, but I'm betting it on precedent because I couldn't hit an over yesterday. And they had 81 points in the first half. And I was like, well, this is caked. Luckily, I got the Kennesaw State first half money line. And then, yeah, it hit. And it hit comfortably, dude. It hit by I want to say 15 points. They finished at 139 and I had 133 or 153.5. So just for an idea of how perverted Bdon is, for anybody watching this, he's still betting first half money lines and spreads in the tournament. Like, I don't know. See, but this is a good angle. It's a good angle though, because if the dog is going to win the game, right? On most, there's 2 exceptions to that: Furman and Princeton, right? They were down at halftime. Princeton was down only 2 or 3, I want to say. And Furman was down, it might have been 6 or 7. And then obviously, they're down by 10 plus at late points in the game. Yesterday we saw TCU come back from, I think it was 7 down at the half. So, I know people that were on the right sides of that. Like my brother, he texted me after he saw I put out the TCU pick. And he's like, all right, man, I got Arizona State first half money line, go Frogs. I'm like, you sick bastard. But, for example, yesterday, Kennesaw State, UC Santa Barbara won the first half. These are – there's some that are not good bets, but if you're going to bet a dog, that's a different angle that you can sprinkle less than you normally put on a regular bet and just put a little bit on there and maybe it comes through.
Yeah, I mean, I like the strategy a lot because if they are going to compete in the game, you need them in the first half to be decent.
Now the lines aren't really that huge today, so there's not really that much value in it, But
what's the biggest line? Is it 10? What's the biggest line today?
I want to say it might be 8. I think it's the one game that we can't bet. It's Northwestern UCLA.
Oh yeah. 8. Oh wait, no. I had +9 last night.
Oh, never mind. It's Alabama, Maryland.
Yeah, we'll get to that one. But
that's the last game of the night. And that's another thing too. The first few days of the tournament, I will also say I just got very excited because there's just games all day, so I was just firing. This is a little bit more relaxed. It's a Saturday. Grab your beer, crack them real quick. I know I can't because I got work later, but
I'll be
I'll have
working
all
at
the
1,
games.
actually.
I'll have all the games on in front of me at work, so it'll be fine. But yeah, I think after the first 2 days of chaos, you have some actually really good matchups between some quality teams today.
Yeah, these are definitely, and they could go either way. Like the 1s versus the 8s, the 1s versus the 9s. I'm looking forward to those matchups a lot. Even the Duke and Tennessee matchup. Like last season, I was a big Tennessee guy. Like I guess we can get into that game a little bit. I was a big Tennessee guy last year.
This year, not so much.
No, I hate pulling for Duke. I don't know. There's something with me with Duke. I just don't like rooting for them.
We're so fucked, dude.
Are we on Duke? Are we both on Duke?
Yeah, we're fucked, dude. I like Duke.
All right, tell me why.
I just looked at that line and I'm like, again, last year Tennessee, they had that it factor to them. They were winning these close games, but this year, and this might just be me being a mush sometimes, seemingly every time I put them in my bets, it's in my bet slip, some fluke shit happened. You know what I'm saying? Like I bet them in the tournament against Mizzou. I faded them Friday night or not Friday night, whatever the first night of the tournament was when they played against Louisiana. And, dude, they went up like 17. They went up like 19 maybe at some point. And I have 11.5. And I think Louisiana only lost by I want to say 7 or 8. They ended up covering. It was nice down the stretch. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel that Duke, they're a weird team this year, right? Like, I saw a stat before the tournament started that they didn't lose at home all year. They end up winning the ACC tournament. The ACC was down this year, obviously. Like, it is what it is. But they're playing the best basketball of their season at the right time. And that's all that you can ask of your team going into the tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely – I think they're kind of like starting the right – they're hitting the right peak here at the right time. And I was looking at it yesterday. I was actually looking at futures for Duke. You probably could have got a way better value before the tournament. And I just didn't, for whatever reason, I just didn't check the values before the tournament. And I should have. But that's irresponsible gambling advice I'm about to give you. Ron says no chance SDSU in my 99th percentile bracket. So
it's first round today. Sorry, Ron, we love you.
Yeah, we love you, Ron. But yeah, we gotta roll Furman out there today.
Yeah, this second game, it's -3.5. It will probably move in Duke's direction to closer to 5 by tip-off. So if you like Duke,
you think so? You think it's gonna go that crazy?
I already listen. It already moved to it was -110 on both sides. I'm not saying 5, but 4.5 at least.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
The 140, so it's only tipping off in 2.5 hours. But
where's the money going? I'm gonna go check that real fast. I'm gonna check and see what the money's on because I mean, it definitely you're gonna get a ton of public money on Duke no matter what.
Well, yeah, it's Duke. That's You get that's kind of what I was getting at. Is it's Duke. Ooh, Furman's already down to 4.5.
So the money, let's see. This is where it says right now: 85% of the bets on Duke, and 79% of the money on Duke. So 15% of the bets on Tennessee, 21% of the money on Tennessee. So there's a little bit of a difference there, a little bit more money than public bets on Tennessee, but still all the money or most of the money is on Duke. But yeah, like I was saying with the futures, I think it was 12-1 to win the championship. 12-1. I mean, that's decent. If they come out of this
team already one game through that is of their quality.
If they come out of this game, let's see what's their bracket. I gotta pull up the entire bracket here. But
yeah, I'll run through the lines for today's games while you're looking that up. But yeah, so Furman has moved down to +4.5 on Bet Rivers. We both locked them in at +5.5. And what'd you get money line +200?
I'll have to check that too. Actually, I'll check right now before I do the other thing. I got the money line +200. Yeah.
So yeah, that game tips off in 3 minutes. I'm about to get that game on the screen going while we're talking, and then I got. We both are going Duke -3.5. It's -108 on Rivers. It starts at 140, and then this third game. So this is an interesting game. Arkansas, Kansas. Where are you at on this one?
Ooh, I'm pretty caught in between on this one. I don't have a pick yet.
I've been personally victimized by both.
Yeah, same. And Kansas is one of those teams where, like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's a bad taste in my mouth with Arkansas because I really get fucked over by them in the college football season. So
not the same. Not the same
at all. But like, I'm like, I get those like thoughts in my head of woo pick Suey and me going crazy and doing these shows over the years of getting all excited for Arkansas
PTSD,
games.
yeah.
And then getting let down on Saturdays. So, like, now, I mean, they're playing basketball. It's a Saturday. It's a different sport, but it's still Saturday. It's still the same school. And I'm like, dude, I don't know if I could trust this team. Like, I mean, I've been screwed over by Kansas, too. But Kansas,
I don't know if you can.
Kansas football treated me better. So now I'm thinking, all right, see the game I'm playing in my head right now, Bdon? I'm playing this little narrative in my own head, and it's not even a narrative between the actual two teams and the real sport that we're talking about. So I don't know. What are you thinking here?
Tottenham just got clapped on real quick, but Arkansas. All right, so this is my thing. I think Kansas is winning this game, right? And if I
did pick them to win this game,
if I think they're winning this game, I would way rather take their -4 than Arkansas +4. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're taking an underdog spread, you're taking that under the impression, especially a short line like this, that team's going to win the game. Not necessarily win the game, but that they could win the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I also think the total's kind of low, but I can't. I really just can't. Because I took so many overs in the first round of the tournament, they will hit at an unreal rate in the second round, and I will have nothing to do with it because personally victimized by kids not scoring baskets in the first round.
Oh, yeah, boy. You want a tournament trend? Talking about the total
yeah, what's
there?
the trend? What's the trend?
All right, so second round matchups, pitting a number 1 seed against a number 8 seed have gone over the full game total almost 63% of the time, 26, 12, and 2. Average over underline is 142.9.
It's 143. The total's 143.
So are you back on the over?
I think I have to.
Yep, I think we're squad riding that. I think
we just have to hope for the points. Jalen Wilson's probably scoring like 25. I don't know. Kansas is one of those teams that rises to the occasion in these big games. You know? Luckily for Arkansas, it's not a home game for Kansas because that would suck if they were playing in Kansas. But, I mean, Arkansas played trying to say it's the nicest way because I know we're in Illinois, but an Illinois team that is not the Illinois team we've seen in the last few years. Just say it the nicest way.
Not at all.
You know?
Not at all. Yeah.
And they beat the absolute shit out of them. There's only one team from Illinois left, and that's the Cats. We can't even bet on that game. And if I could, I don't even know which way I would lean.
Hey, did that total go up, by the way? I think it's seeing 143.5, or what did you say?
I don't know. I just have Rivers up on my screen right now. It says 143.
Oh, it says 143. Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, I'd take over 143. What's the price on it?
-113. The Duke one's down to 126. That's kind of low too.
That's extremely low. How the fuck are we back? Are you, man? Now you're gonna get me thinking. All right, if everything was pretty much falling under, I might have to go over today.
Yeah,
I might have to go over, especially if you're playing a close game. All right, here's the other scenario, right? We don't know what's going to happen with the spread wise, but if it is a close game, you still have the opportunity for overtime, which could push it over. You have the opportunity for the fouls, obviously, which the games weren't really. That wasn't how it played out.
That's what I'm saying, though. The first round, there was none of those games where you're like, okay, I need 10 points in the last 2 minutes, and I'll get some fouls. No fouls.
That has to shift, though, right? That has to shift.
It has to change. My thing with it is it's like, dude, it's the end of your season. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why aren't you fouling?
Why are you not fouling, dude?
You should be. Well, that's what pisses me off too. When there's so many fouls a little bit early too, though. Like some teams will foul super early when they don't have to. I'm like, dude, play solid defense. Get the ball back. Let's see what you can do. Get a quick bucket. You don't need to start fouling. In my opinion, maybe maybe I'm wrongful thinking on that end, but sometimes they start fouling at like 45 seconds left. And some of those are inadvertent, but I don't think they need to start fouling that early.
We are off in the Furman game. We are up 2-0. Stop the count. It's over.
Yep.
See you later on. But yeah, back to the fouling point. It's been ridiculous. Like, you're sitting here and you're like, dude, I just need like 6 more points. Like, nothing crazy, right? You get no love in any of these games. Yesterday, I'm like rooting for Kent State to keep it close at like 11:30, just being an absolute cockroach on my couch. And I'm just like, they're not keeping it close, which means they're not going to foul, which means they're not going over. And they didn't. But in these games today, so like the largest line that we're seeing today is 8.5. And that's Alabama against Maryland. That's the number 1 overall seed in the tournament,
Mm-hmm.
Most of these games are sitting at, so I'll run through the whole slate. So nothing official yet, but I'm leaning Kansas in the over in that game. I'll pick one, not both, because you can never pick both and get them both right. I say that, but I did kind of saw yes. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we're hitting the Men in Black eraser for yesterday. I don't give a shit about what happened yesterday anymore. We're done. It was a bad day.
It's a little bit more congested in the middle of the day, so we get 4, 5, 6 these start times. So Arkansas, Kansas at 4 o'clock. Princeton, Missouri is at 5 o'clock. And this is 2 teams that nobody anticipated being here, right? Like, I know I picked Utah State. I know a lot of people had anticipated that Utah State would beat Missouri. They did not. And then the only person that I talked to that said that Princeton had any chance was Quentin. We were talking after, as we used to always do at the end of Bears on Tap. And he only took them for the spread. I was like, I had just gotten off of work, went over to my brother's to start watching the games, and I was just like, dude, they have all the momentum right now. The pressure is not on them. Let's see what happens. And they won. So that's another thing, too, that I like during the tournament is, like, if you have a feel for the game. So yesterday I didn't pull the trigger on it, but TCU, I don't know what their live line got up to yesterday, but it had to be a very nice price. I'm not always suggesting to double down, and yesterday, as you saw, I didn't double down. But in certain situations, if you have a team, say, -4.5, and you think they're still going to win the game, but maybe not by 5, maybe a half unit or something like that on a money line that's like north of +200. You know what I'm saying? So
I like that strategy, actually. I mean, most of the time, you see it in football too, right? We do the same thing with football, where if a big favorite falls down early with an early touchdown or something by the other team that was a huge dog, like, you're looking at that team for some value, even if they're not a huge dog, it's like, stick to your conviction that you had before the game, and you can kind of see how the flow. Yeah, sometimes you get punched in the mouth early, like that happens. Coaches call timeout. They get in a little huddle, they regroup a little bit, come up with a little strategy. Maybe coach gets on the guys, hey, you were out a little bit late last night drinking, like let's get you a little bit hydrated, let's get you some water, let's get you some Gatorade, a little Pepto-Bismol if your stomach's a little woozy, little aspirin for your head. I mean, I don't know, not so much for the tournament. I know these guys aren't out there just like partying it up. Maybe after like a big dog, like a 15 seed or 16 seed, maybe these dudes were out there partying it up. But at the same time, like, there's ebbs and flows, especially with basketball. Like, basketball
is these games have been games of runs, bro. A lot of them have been games of runs.
Yeah, you're going to get those big runs, and it's just about kind of timing it out right. Like, if you see a team go, like, for example, if you're seeing a team go 0 for 8, right? Just 0 for their last 8. Okay, it might be time to kind of pounce on that spread if the other team's just kind of making a little bit of noise, because they're just shooting bricks. Like, are they really getting outplayed? It depends. If they're not really getting outplayed, but they're just missing shots, go ahead and jump on that team with the spread. That's kind of how I look at it, live betting at least. But the problem with that is also sometimes teams get down on themselves once they start missing all those shots. So then they can kind of fall into a rut. I mean,
and that's the thing, though, too. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's what I said at the beginning of the show. These are 18 to 22-year-old athletes in most cases. Sometimes with the extra years of eligibility and all that, they're a little bit older. But, like, these are not NBA level players. Most of these guys are not going to the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Right.
they don't have that Mamba mentality, right? And one thing that I always say is there's no team that folds like a college basketball team with the lead in the last 5 minutes. You see it every time. Missed free throws. Furman was gifted their win by a bad inbound pass by 28th year senior Kihei Clark. Make that shit make sense. Kihei Clark's like older than I am, and he's the guy that makes that pass.
28th year senior. The guy's out there playing basketball at about 60 years old, 50 years old.
He's up there with like the Perry Ellises of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has been a part of Virginia basketball since before I even started like betting. You know what I'm saying? Like 5-6 years ago.
It was a ridiculous play. Dude just like hucked it. He wasn't even looking. I mean,
I don't know. I don't even know what he was going for, dude. It was awful.
But I loved every second of it. I loved it.
Yeah, no, I loved it. So, all right, let's move on to this next game, though. So, Princeton, Missouri. That is – dude, I looked at this last night, and either I'm crazy, but I think the total might be a little too high. It's 146.
Jesus Christ. Why are we on the same side as everything?
I don't know, man. I just think that you have two teams coming off of huge wins, like big wins. Missouri, they lost the lead in the second half of that game, and then they just boat raced Utah State off the floor. Princeton, they hung tough early. They went down, I want to say like 8 or 9 early in the first half, and then they kept fighting back brick by brick, took the lead in the second half with about 5-6 minutes, or like 4 or 5 minutes left to go, and didn't look back. But I just think it's going to be a little bit tougher to find the basket in this game.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think honestly, if Princeton's going to have a shot, they're going to have to really slow it down. Like that's really what needs to happen. They're going to have to slow down the pace.
You can't get into a game where you're trying to, go blow for blow with the Missouri. Because they don't have the athletes. They don't have athletes.
No, and it kind of worked in their favor the last game, right? Like they weren't trying to, like, yeah, in pace. Everybody's looking at the pace stats, right? I love looking at pace stats.
Pace and KenPom, baby.
Pace and KenPom, adjusted tempo, all that stuff, right? You look at, Haslametrics. They all have all these different sites. Evan Maya, Bar Torvik, all these different predictor sites. Quentin Q, he needs to have a little predictor site. I know he has his model, but I want to see when he starts doing like the tempo stuff. I don't know if maybe he has started doing that. I'm sure it factors in maybe a little bit to the model too. I'm sure, but I want to start seeing some of that because then we can put like the Crisco.com, the Crisco, what do you call it? Tempo, the Q tempo chart. But
his numbers that he crunches are insane. Yeah, he is the numbers guy.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. I think like, dude, this Princeton team, they haven't won a tournament game since 25 years. That was the first win in 25 years in the tournament. So I mean, now you look at 3 of the last 5 games for them have been under. The 2 games that went over, they went over by one point. Each of them went over.
That was their conference championship game, but it went over because free throws.
Free throws, right? Free throws could push it, but look at this total. Like you said, what's it? 149.5? Is it still 149.5? Can you get that?
No, it's 146.
Oh shit! This came way down.
I saw it at like 147 last night. You must have seen it right away.
Yeah, I bet that thing almost, right before it was about maybe 10 or 11 or something. I don't know what time I bet them, but yeah, I bet that thing pretty early. I think, damn, 146 that thing definitely moved. I don't know, man.
Yeah, well, that's another thing too. That's another thing too, though, with these matchups. Predetermined days in advance. It's important if you like a side to get it in early because the lines will shift. Especially when it's not the same schedule that we normally have where there's like 300 games on a Saturday. Today there are 8 games, and for us in Illinois, there are 7 games. Unless you're getting into some
NIT, we can't bet all of
unless you're getting into some nasty NIT action.
Just change the fucking law already. just change.
Hammer the cats. All right, so we're both kind of on the under. We're both on the under here. I'm taking the under, even though it's a lower number than you. I'll still take it. I think I like it at 146. This shit's finishing at 145 on the dot. called my shot.
If you're still taking it there, that makes me feel pretty good then about this bet. So yeah.
Oh yeah, no, this is going to be a game that finishes 97-89 for sure.
We both get fucking smoke somehow.
Yeah.
No,
all right. So this next one starts an hour after it, 6:10. Auburn, Houston. Auburn's +5. That moved a half a point. They were +5.5 last night when I looked. And Houston and the over/under is 133. I kind of lean Auburn with this game because I don't know the health of Marcus Sasser. He looked pretty banged up at the end of the last game that they played. So if he's not 100%, I think that plays into why this line's so short. Because you see Houston all season long with lines of like 13.5, 17.5, 21.5, like all sorts of long lines. And here they are, 1 versus 9, only -5.
Yeah, the money's on Auburn here. 77% of the money is on Auburn, and the sharps are too. It seems like a lot of sharps are on them. I don't know, man. This is a tough one for me because I really like Houston. I think I picked Houston.
They were in a war the other night, man. That first round game was not easy for them.
No, not at all. And I think, but sometimes you can get a little bit battle tested that way early. If you get battle tested early, maybe you can make a deeper run because you've been in contending games. You're not sitting there falling back on your heels in the second round if you come out with a big blowout.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't really love the spread though. I don't think I'm going to bet it. I think I'm going to
kind of short line. Yeah, this is kind of one of those games that, like I said earlier, it's either Auburn wins this game or outright, or Houston wins by like 6 or 7. Weird game.
Well, now you might convince me to take a little money line sprinkle on Auburn just to hedge my tournament overall bet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the next game that starts is Penn State, Texas. That is Penn State +5.5, over/under 138.5. Both teams are actually really hot. Texas won the Big 12 championship in the tournament, and Penn State made it all the way to the Big 10 championship, ended up losing to Purdue. But they're still here, and Purdue's not. So,
yeah, at
least for today.
Well, every single game that I'm looking at the spread trends, dude. The last 5 games for each of these teams, and it's probably dating back longer than that, but the last 5 games for each of these teams, they've covered the spread. So I'm not to mention just winning the game.
It's an ATS off.
It's an ATS off. Yeah, I don't know if when we have that situation, it's like you just kind of throw away the numbers and you just kind of go with. I can never get either one of these teams right for anything. Yeah. For anything. I don't know what it is. Texas, we talk about all the time.
We know how you feel about Texas, man.
Texas is the number one not a state. Yeah, but I need to tell people about this because I haven't ranted about it on a microphone. Yeah. Texas is the ultimate not a state, even though Penn actually has state in their name, and we say not a state for Penn.
Yeah.
So now it's the not a state off. It's the ATS off. Yeah, I'm just horns down all the way. They're banned. They're on the ban list forever, for life, even though for some reason I still continue to bet their games every once in a while.
Personally victimized by Texas athletics, Joey Ricotta.
Yeah, I'm going to try to see if I can get some charges against Texas, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm not betting this game either. I'm kind of a
Rivers says that each of the Texas last 7 night games against a non-conference have produced a total of 139 points. Just saying.
I don't know. So what's that mean? What are you doing here?
Dude, I don't know what I'm doing here. I am very conflicted because in that same sense, right, like I don't think Penn State's a team that can knock Texas out.
Should we look at props?
Marcus Carr is like 35 years old. Harry Kane just scored a fucking goal. Let's go. Let's go, Tottenham. Tottenham, come on. Yeah, sorry, Ron. My brain just got put in the blender again. But
where did Ron go? He needs to see these reactions.
Yeah, no, Ron left. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna come back to this one. I'm gonna come back to this one later. I'll drop a tweet for it. Because dude, I'm looking at all four of these, and I might be a Joey on this game. If I can find like a Marcus Carr prop bet, I might just be a Marcus Carr guy. We just go Marcus Carr legacy game. Like I'll see what's total.
Yeah, let's see what the props are.
His PRA is 22.5, bro. That's not a lot.
That's really not that. What's he averaging? Well, you're not going to be able to tell me that off the top of your head. But.
Yeah, I was going to say, hold on. Let me pull up the PRA, the ESPN PRA.
How about the Timmy Allen rebounds? Is that a little –
Dude, they got some elite names, dude. Serge Jabari Rice. Dude, actually, bro, why is Pickett not listed? I would even be on some, like, let's be weird about this game, right? Like, we're really conflicted about which side or even the total. Well, if I take the total, I'm taking the over in this game, but I am fighting inner demons of betting overs in March Madness. Like, I just don't think I can put myself through another 40 minutes of a 58-52 game when I need 100.
What about a first half over, though?
This is where I'm going, though. If you can same game parlay player props, I think this is one of those games, right, where Pickett and Carr just go at each other.
I could see it. Yeah.
And it's like if you just, maybe he said you got a funky bet that you can. This is where I'm getting, Ron. I don't know what book you can parlay it on, right? I don't want to give anyone a free ad.
Yeah, don't give free ads. We got the deposit match, $250.
Oh, yeah. No, Rivers did add same game parlays. Yeah, so right now, a Marcus Carr over 14.5, Jalen Pickett over 18.5 parlay, so net plus 265.
Can you boost that at all?
Let me log in.
They might not have.
I've just been sitting here looking from I haven't logged in.
Well, that's what sucks about every book is you have to constantly, continually log back. Why do they do this? If you're in Illinois, if you're betting on Illinois, why do they log you out? I want to keep betting. I'm trying to keep placing money on. I'm trying to keep losing money with you guys. Can I keep losing money with you guys? Why do I have to log back in every 2 seconds?
Furman's score check. Furman is up 13-12 right now. All right.
Let's go, Furman.
Furminator. The Furminator.
Actually, I need to grab the tabby. I should have had the tablet in here. Watch, I don't have a TV in this room yet. So I'm not even watching the game right now. I'm actually going to step away to do that.
To keep you from being too much of a hooligan. Hold on. All right.
Oh, dude, I'd be in here all day just like looking at numbers and fucking betting.
Oh yeah, no, I don't have a profit boost on my Rivers account. You may have one on your account if you got a Rivers account. I don't know how everyone's is all set up, but keep an eye out for those promos. Either way, this is a fun one. This is a funky one, a fun one. I think that you got my blood flowing a little earlier when you dropped that over on the points, and I'm like, I didn't even think about that angle. I've just been betting spreads and totals, right? I haven't really looked too much into like the player props, right?
I think
for the most part, they're not really available on some books during the season. I don't know.
No, they open it up. They open up the candy store a little bit here for the
what is it,
March Madness.
For March Madness? Because I know during like college football, like bowl season and the playoff, like 2 years ago when Notre Dame blew that huge lead in the Fiesta Bowl and Kevin Austin scored that touchdown at the end, that meant nothing to the team, right?
Oh my God, I was sitting there. We were texting back and forth.
That meant everything to me because I had like it was like Kyron Williams, Kevin Austin, and someone else all to score, and Kevin Austin scored on like the last play of the game, and it was like 25 to win 800. So I was like, yeah. And then I got to interview him later that offseason too, so that was pretty sick. Kevin Austin, that is. He's down with Jacksonville.
There you go.
But yeah, if I am betting a funky bet for my man Ron, I'm putting together this Marcus Carr, Jalen Pickett over on the points parlay. If you want a safer one, you could probably parlay both the PRAs, but I am just asking, we'll call it this, the good players must score parlay. They have to score. The two leading scorers on their team. They got low totals in a game that, I mean, as much as I said 58-52 just being a jag-off, because I said I like the over, they're probably both scoring 60, 65 plus points.
Oh,
and
yeah.
someone has to win the game. So, I mean, it's not like they're both going to score 65,
Yeah, they're both scoring 65, right on 65.
Someone might not win this Brentford game,
but then you're for sure going over then because they are going overtime. So,
yeah.
Dude, I think
like I said, I'm going to come back to this one, but for like a fun, just a little sprinkle, I think it's going to be a really good game, I think. Penn State, their coach has them firing on all cylinders right now, bro. And
I just don't like either of these teams. I can't stand either of these teams.
Well, so I faded Penn State. Well, I made us all fade Penn State the other day because I was thinking that eventually there was going to be some sort of regression, right? They just went on an insane tournament run. The Big Ten is I said this to my brother the other day, and I go, dude, we're actually insane for betting on the Big Ten expecting different results other than losing our bet. Because the Big Ten, you can go off whatever sample size, you can go off whatever you've seen so far throughout the season, whatever numbers, whatever trends, doesn't matter. Yesterday, Purdue, the tallest team in the nation, lost to Fairleigh Dickinson, who is 363rd in the nation in combined team height. What?
That's
how?
awesome.
So
it's random. The March
Big Ten's random.
It's just March is random though too, but Big Ten in particular, yeah. Big Ten.
So I don't know. I think it's a good game, but right now, no pick yet. But I lean over, and I will probably be loading up a nice little Marky Carr, Jalen Pickett-Pale.
Hey, before we keep going here, and I know we're sweating this Furman game too, so we're gonna stick on for a little bit. But before we keep going, remember who was that kid last year from St. Peter's? Was like Dougie with the mustache.
Doug Eater, yeah.
Doug Eater. Remember when I like put him in the grave by betting on his points over?
It was who did they lose to? Kansas, right?
They lost to was it Kansas?
They got smoked by a heavy hitter, bro. Like they just got done. They beat Purdue. Remember, Purdue lost. I saw a graphic too. Purdue has lost to Fairleigh Dickinson, St. Peter's, and North Texas in their last 3 tournament trips. The Travion Williams team, Zach Edey, all 7'4" of them. It's a great regular season guy to bet on, like when you got an over or something. But honestly,
they're tough because they're really cold. They get hot and cold from 3, I think.
I just think, okay, so this goes back to my point about like if you think a game's going to be like a back and forth game, why not bet someone's PRA? Zach Edey had 36.5 points and rebounds yesterday.
Yeah,
they only scored what 58 points, and he had 21 points. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
he was the whole show. Yeah,
I'm gonna say this right now: Purdue, as it was found out yesterday, were Zach Edey merchants. They just depended on Zach Edey entirely way too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and that's why people bought into them because they thought, well, you have such a great player here, and now the other guys seem to be stepping up a little bit. But it was kind of fraudulent. Like they'd step up randomly. So I don't know, man. It was too much Zach Edey. I think, I didn't have them going very far. I had them winning that game. I don't know where I had them leaving my bracket, but what's that? What's the next game on the docket here? Do we have another? Yeah.
So there's that the Northwestern Illinois game, but we don't get that one. Or the Northwestern UCLA game, but we don't get that one. And then the last game, the 8:40 game, is Alabama-Maryland.
I like this Alabama Maryland game. Do you even want to talk about Northwestern or no? I
don't. Northwestern money line for my brother. Don't take it. It's probably not hitting, but my brother him and White Sox Dave are like the 2 biggest Northwestern fans. Would love nothing more for them to get a dub against fucking UCLA as Tottenham puts another one in the net. Your mother.
I'm loving that your bets are hitting right now because this is only a sign for good things to come, I think. Because sometimes you get on these heaters where it's like an entire clean sweep.
I just keep pressing the right buttons. So I think we neglected the audience at the beginning. A little bit about me. You're talking to a kid that when I was at the pool bar as a kid on vacation, like I am helping full-grown men pick spreads at like 9 years old. You're talking about a guy that was doing like family football confidence picks from like the first grade on. Like I have always tried to, even before sports betting like was legal in Illinois, betting with a friend or like trying to predict like obviously not like every game, but like big games like the Super Bowl, like hey, you bet with a buddy like $20, stuff like that. Like I always have had this knack for trying to predict what happens in sports. And I'm pretty knowledgeable at this point in most sports. If I had to rank them, I would say football, that's a given. College football probably a little bit more so than the NFL. And then after that, MLB and college basketball are both pretty neck and neck with me, and then not too far behind it is the European footy, man. Like I don't know, I just go on heaters sometimes on footy, and like right now I'm a little sweating a little bit right now with the Brentford game, but there'll be times where yes, like you said, you could get a 9-0 Don day, and then in the same weekend you could get that 0-5 Don day. You just got to pick and choose. Obviously, none of these are paid picks, but like my whole mindset is I don't look at splits. I don't look at where the money goes. I don't look at who has what. I bet what I like and I live with the result. That's what it is. Like that's how you got to go about it, I guess. But
yeah,
there's too many people nowadays. You know, you see all these people on Twitter that are always like, well, this is really, and I'm one of them after the Super Bowl that I'll say like this is rigged. But people think that it's rigged in favor of the sports books, right? They're saying like, hey, this money went here, this has to happen. Dude, when you make a bet, first and foremost, make it responsibly. Don't bet without your means. Like we've said from the beginning, these are all like 1 unit plays, some are even less than that, just sprinkles that we're putting on the game because it's March Madness. This is one of the times of the year that you can go a little extra on your account. But I will say that you just see too much crap on Twitter and wherever. Don't ever pay for picks from anyone. And like I said, bet what you like. And if you're wrong, you're wrong.
Well, hey, if you want to pay us for picks, I mean, you can do that.
Tips are appreciated, but we did not put up a tip-worthy performance yesterday. I'll say that.
No, I mean you should just be tipping us for the losers, though. You know, I mean, hey, we
fades,
free gave you something to fade, yeah, free fades.
You're such a shitbag, dude. Free fades.
Look, I don't know.
We're about 12 minutes and it's 19-17 San Diego State. Close game.
So I hate to do this though. I did just get a text saying, "Hey, if you're coming with me, you got to start wrapping this thing up." Yeah. So, but. With that said, I don't know if I did a good job earlier of introducing you to the show because, we just hit the live button, did the Joey special.
The Joey special. Where's Ron's comment? Yeah,
we need to pull that back up. But, and that happens from time to time. Dude, it's too early.
I didn't even see Ron. He said Bdon betting overs for the public. That's great.
Yeah, just riding with the public. Yeah, you are like – sometimes I feel like you are the ultimate public man. But you make a great point, though, because when you're on the side of what you think is going to happen rather than just following the money trends, I like to follow it as just like an indication of what is expected in the game by the masses, by the people that do this either for a living or whatnot. But it never should.
There's nothing I love more though than being on the right side of when everyone else says this is going to happen and it doesn't. You know.
Oh yeah, that's the ultimate best feeling when you're like the only guy on this island. And
like imagine waking up today with a Fairleigh Dickinson money line ticket. Like you're literally Randy Marsh just bouncing outside the store. You know what I'm saying? Like
I had FOMO yesterday, big time FOMO.
That's the first thing I said when the clock hit 0. I'm like, damn, how did I not think of this?
Dude, I was in another group chat with some people, and they're talking, and they're like 5 of them had like a little $5 sprinkle.
It was probably like 5 to win like 150 or something, right? Like that's a great bet.
It was like 20 to 1, right?
Yeah, it's usually not going to hit, but it's a great bet if it does.
Dude, all of them were sitting there like, yeah, let's fucking go, and I'm just sitting there like,
yeah, I bet the over because I was like, I just watched.
This is fun.
I just watched Fairleigh put up like 92 points in a tournament game, and I'm like, Purdue just scores. So, but yeah, Yeah.
Wait a second. Before we get out of here, though, because like I said, I do want to introduce you. The people already know who you are, though, if they're familiar with On
If you
Tap.
listen to On Tap, you know who I am.
Yeah, with Bears On Tap, Bdon.
The guy who just puts the fat head gifs all over your timeline after like a Bears game.
You got the God, what's that app called again?
Pinata Farms.
The Pinata Farms, dude. One of the best
ever
apps. Download that app because I made so much nonsense.
Wait, hold on. You said you love the Alabama-Maryland game. What'd you take?
Yeah, so I mean, like, you might have heard this before. It's probably been said before. You've probably said it before, and it's probably not really made sense to you, or it has made sense to you, and it's just like an overblown narrative half the time. I think this is too many points. Like, I do. I think
Alabama game.
I think it's too many points because I think, dude, Brandon Allen, he's hurt right now, right? He's got the groin issue. So
banged up.
And I'm looking. I like to look at these different sites, these projector sites as well. So this is
my shit split up by bracket. It's a 142.5 right now for Alabama, Maryland.
142. No, I mean I'm just talking about the spread though. So the spread is at 8.5.
Oh, you're saying it's too many points for Maryland?
I think it's too many points for Maryland to get here. I think if you're getting 9, I got 9 last night, but I think 8.5 is still pretty nice.
Yeah, you might get a little public swing on Alabama later because it's 8.5, like split at -110 on both sides right now.
And I mean, like, dude, if you look at Haslametrics, that's a site that I like to pop in now and then. Look at that tempo stuff. Look at the ratings and all that. There's a 4-point gap in the projected, like what the spread should be. A 4-point gap.
They're saying it's what, Alabama -4, basically.
Basically, they're saying 4-point game and 8.5. One of two things though, right? That could be Vegas is very strong on what they think is going to happen in this game to where they set the line at because they feel really strongly about Alabama in this spot. Or they put it that way because they know that people feel really strongly about Alabama just as a team. I think Maryland showed enough the last game. I mean,
I had them the first game of the 3.
They move at a little bit of a slower pace too. Usually my pace means a closer game, right? So,
my thing is Bama just fucking scores and scores and scores and scores. Like I think they had, it was like 96 points in the opening game of the tournament. Obviously, it's a way different caliber of team, but I don't know. This is a tight one.
I also know.
I do think Alabama wins the game, but
yeah, I do too.
So you're basically saying you're counting on Maryland shooters to come to the party because if they got the 3-ball falling, they're putting up 85 points.
I think they get slowed down enough to where they're not even able to get to that 85 points, even if they are shooting it well.
Kind of what we were talking about earlier, where like Maryland just slows the game down.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
Like they just hit them with a tempo special, and they're just like, yeah, you're not going to run and gun on us today.
But I know what you're thinking though too, because we've talked about.
I don't know if I can bet this over though. Alabama has been weird about their over-unders.
Lately. Yeah, I'm not messing with the total because that's probably.
Dude, honestly, hold on.
Well, wait. Let me tell you what I was going to say. God damn it.
Oh, go ahead.
So
I'm bad. I'm sorry.
So we've talked about how when you think too much, when you put too much thought into a bet, when you're looking at like too many different numbers and whatever
indicators and shit,
and then you should just probably go the other side because it's not going to hit. So I feel like I know what you're thinking in regards to that because I think you generally
about Bama.
Yeah, you're probably
Maryland already paid out.
No, I think Maryland already they're giving me the red X signal, even though I really like the Maryland side. I think they're giving me the red X signal like right before it even started.
Before you even start, yeah. All right, well, shit. Do you have any other random bets for today, like NBA, any or other weirdo shit?
Not really much weirdo shit. I was actually, they have the other.
You have some golf though, don't you?
I got golf. I'm sweating. I was thinking, what's a live bet I could even get on with golf? I mean,
not a golf guy.
Let me check it out right now. I mean, I'm kind of sweating out Spieth. at the top.
Most Spiethy action.
Yeah, but I don't think I'd live bet it because I already bet it at I think it was 12-1. Or actually, I think I got a better number because I boosted it. But yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know. You could probably look at like matchup plays and stuff like that. Live tournament, maybe the under par over under par scores. I think Spieth has a solid day today, so I would probably take him under whatever. I think he goes under like, what is it, 70.5 strokes. They'll probably set it at 69.5 strokes.
Oh, you're a sick man betting some shit like that.
If you can find it, I don't even know. I haven't looked. So I mean,
right now we're a little bit in the mud. Furman is down 8, 25-17. About 5 minutes left in the first half.
It's early. With that said, though, any last bets that you have, because I'm getting the let's get the fuck out of here signal from somebody.
I will have them posted. I'll make a nice little video later for the people. But if it wasn't said already, it's not in my slip, but that will always change because it is a Saturday afternoon. So the units will be put into the slip.
Did someone say Furman isn't winning? Weird, Ron says here in the comments. Ron is giving you, dude, he's tossing it right at us right now.
Oh my God, double down. I need a Brentford goal. Like I need air. But yeah, I'm good.
All right, let's see. We'll be tweeting out. We'll be posting some weird videos from the bar. Or Bdon will be at work. Like I don't know what you're supposed to be doing tonight at work, Bdon, but I'm sure you won't be doing what you're supposed to because you'll be looking at these games and bets. And just that's just kind of how
I might even call off. I kind of want to call off tonight, but that's neither here nor there. Furman's definitely got to win for that to happen, and I don't think they're on the pace for that at the moment. But
no, that means you need to.
I always say,
because then you need to make the money back. So you have to call off if they lose because you have to think about what bets you're going to place to catch up.
Like right now, bro, their shots are going to start falling. They only have 15 minutes into the game. They'll pick it up. They'll get it back. But yeah, I'm good for today.
All right, good opening show with me and you. We've been on, Bears on Tap together. We talk pretty regularly about bets and whatnot. And I kind of took a little bit of a breather. I wasn't betting as much until like recently after football season. I kind of like slowed down just a little bit.
Yeah, I take a little bit of a break because it's just such a lull. And even when I did the first show or the last show on Bears on Tap, when I was talking about coming over here, I was just like, I'm not really that great at the NBA. I did snipe a nice little Mavs plus 500 after the pain that was last night in the tournament.
That was solid.
But yeah, the NBA is very hit or miss. I think you see a little bit better trends being accomplished in the playoffs. Like you can roll with teams in the playoffs a lot easier than you can throughout the regular season with so many people always sitting out,
Yep, I definitely agree. Just don't bet on the Suns in the playoffs, like I was doing last year.
I was all over
special.
I was all over whoever goes against Chris Paul because I hate Chris Paul.
Yeah, I should have been there. I wasn't. Anyways, with that said, we are on Tap Bets. He's Bdon 300. You can follow him there on Twitter at Bdon 300. You can follow me at Joey Knows Nothing. I don't see our what happened to our little.
It's on the bottom.
You see it? Okay, I don't see it.
Yeah, it's it's just rolling.
Oh, you're talking about the ticker? No, I'm talking about our names used to be like.
I don't know where the names went. Again, from the top of the show to the end of the show, the two worst technological people at On Tap. So expect nothing less.
Expect nothing less. You'll get it every time from us.
But yeah, we need the Furminators to start making their way back into this game.
Let's go, Furminators. I like the sound of that. We need a big money line victory here. What's my boy at points wise? What's my boy with the points total?
Pull up the score.
He's got 3 right now.
Yeah,
he's 1 for 4 from 3. He's not really shooting that great, but
not a great first half.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. 3 minutes left in the first. All right, I gotta wrap it up. Brother. We're on Tap Bets. Crack them, lock them. We're out.